Welcome to Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. And I'm thrilled, honored, humbled, and grateful to have with me today my good friend Jen Gitomer, sales trainer, author, speaker, consultant, coach, lifetime game changer, and also Sales in a New York Minute. The one and the only. I love this. This is one of my favorite books. If you want to get the ideas and strategies that you can learn in a minute and execute to make more money today, this is the book.
Thanks.
So Jen, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, so we're super excited. One, because I love New Yorkers and also people from New Jersey and New York. We've got offices out there. And also because you've got a wealth of knowledge from your sales experience and the audience is dying to learn your top sales secrets.
Okay.
Your number one top sales secret that they can execute today, and I assume in a New York minute, to make more money in less time, blah, 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 all the special captions.
Blah, 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 blah. You don't need the rest.
I'm not that good of a copywriter.
Just make more money.
I'm like, make
right
more money
now.
in less time with less hassle, with less barriers to entry and less sales objections in a New York minute. And they also want to hear about the sales secrets that you've learned throughout your career that helped get you to where you're at. Sales author, speaker, expert, how to sell anything in a New York minute. So I'd love to just take it from the top, like your background. How'd you get to where you're at today? And what were the secrets that you've learned along the way?
Sure.
And that's a loaded question.
Yeah,
so
that is a loaded question. So I knew that I was going to be a business owner and a salesperson since age 5. Literally, my parents owned a printing company, a book manufacturing business. Cool. And I listened to their dinner talk, table conversation every single night. And it was like getting an MBA that you couldn't get any place in the world because I was listening to them from age, whenever I can remember for decades and just hearing them talk business and sales. And my mom was the sales expert. My dad was the business expert. And combined, it was just like so much.
Game changers.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that's like the epitome of a power couple.
Yes, 100%. Wow. And so I just knew it. And I would go sell bracelets outside the supermarket. And then I realized people didn't want my bracelets. They wanted their bracelets, meaning they wanted the bracelets that were their colors or they wanted them customized to them. And so I would collect their money up front. Then they would meet me the next week to pick up their stuff. It was amazing. And then all throughout my journey, I just worked my butt off. I sold Cutco knives, and that was huge.
It's like the MBA of sales right there.
Oh yeah, that was huge because when I was at Cutco, one of the things I learned was this concept of that I've now coined show don't tell. So I would go in and I would try to talk about all the knives and how great they were, and most of the people I was talking to already had knives because who owns a kitchen? Right. Yeah. And so what I realized was I really had to show them why these knives were better. And so I would have them get something that we could cut with the knife and they would see it's sharper, so therefore it's way easier. Or they had this part of the demo where you would take a penny and the scissors that were so freaking amazing. And you would cut the penny into
the penny?
Yes, because nothing can cut through a penny, right? But Cutco scissors can.
That's
and then
amazing.
I would take the ice cream scoop was my favorite product. So I would take it and put it on the shelf and I would compare it to their ice cream scoop. Now, if I just told them do you like your ice cream scoop? Of course, they'd be like, yeah, it's fine. But once I showed them how much better mine was, it was sharp on the exact right spot. It doesn't hit the table, so it doesn't get germy. I mean, there's so many things, but
this is door to door selling the Cutco knives.
Oh yeah. And
outside.
Where
were you doing
showing
this
up?
at? What's it?
I was doing it in New York, in Manhattan, and in New Jersey. Wow. And I was just I would go, first I made a list.
Yep. Got to make your list.
Got to make a list. So I made a list of all the people I knew who could potentially buy knives.
Your prospects.
Which was everybody, right?
Your power base and whatnot.
Exactly. And they were basically my parents' friends or my friends' parents.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
And I called every single one of them. I had no shame. I wanted to make commission.
Yeah.
I was a knife salesperson now. And I was in high school, right? And so I'm like, yeah. So I called all of them. And once I got through that list, I knew I could get through the entire list in just a month or so. And so what I decided to do was ask for, and I don't teach the same strategy now, but I was early on in my career, and I would ask, like, once I established the relationship and all that, I'd be like, okay, so Brandon, who else do you know that may be able to benefit from these knives?
Yeah.
Oh, great. You know these 3 people? Could you introduce me? And I had balls. Like, I had no shame. I was all about it. And I wouldn't ask someone that like didn't buy a knife for me and really was just doing me a favor to meet with me. I just looked at that as like, cool, I got great practice in delivering my spiel and they didn't buy anything. Okay, whatever. But if I could develop enough of a relationship and I felt like I had earned that referral, I would go all in and ask. And sometimes I would even call them back and say, hey, I met with those 3 friends. Thanks so much for those interests. They were amazing. Who else do you know? I mean, I was like just on fire about it. You know, I didn't care at all.
Is that a sales secret that you would say? What was like the biggest sales secret you think from
Which is
selling
show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell.
You can't show up and just be like, I have the best knives ever. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Right?
And everyone probably says that.
Right. Exactly.
Selling knives.
So I would literally have them take out their favorite utensils, their favorite knives, their favorite kitchen gadgets. Maybe it was like a spatula or something. And I bought as much as I could with me. And I personally bought it because I felt like I couldn't just open a catalog and show you in the catalog that this is better and here's why. I would literally like whip it out of my briefcase and show them, like compare them.
And do you think that's like another micro secret is like, if you're not going to buy the product yourself, then why the hell are you selling it?
Yes. Like if you
like,
don't
did you
believe
truly
in the
believe
product,
the Cutcos were like the best of the
Yeah,
best?
I still do. Wait,
Yeah.
it's like decades later, I still believe that.
Yeah.
I will swear by them. When I see someone in a mall or wherever selling them, I go over and introduce myself. I get so excited. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, that's the ice cream. You know, I get really excited about the product because I still like the belief system, and that is a secret for sure, but the belief system is so strong that it didn't just leave once I, moved on.
Yep.
Like I still carry that belief system with me.
Okay.
And so, the next thing is, so at the same time as Cutco, I was also working retail.
Awesome.
And
it's another great like sales job on the streets.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Make like all these people, you got to sell them quick, you got to sell them fast.
Yes. And so I was working at a store in New Jersey that was like on a corner in a small shopping area. And we really relied on repeat business. I didn't know that, but I learned that. And
they probably forgot to tell you when they
didn't give me any training, right?
Yeah.
And so one day some girl walks in and she's trying stuff on and my manager comes over and she goes, don't let her walk out with that. I'm like, why? That's like a $500 outfit. And I'm already calculating the commissions.
Like,
and like, she likes it. What do you mean? She goes, it looks like crap on her. Do not let her walk out with that. So then I'm like, hey, why don't you try this instead? And I give her something that she falls in love with. Okay. And, she leaves and I have this conversation with my manager about it. I'm like, what's up? Like what? She liked that outfit. She's like, was the outfit you found her better? I go, oh, 100%. It was way more flattering. She looked skinnier. She looked prettier, all that. Yeah. She goes, if you sell someone something that just to sell them something and they go home and they show their friends who are honest with them and their friends say, hey, who sold you that? Never go back there. You're going to lose them as a client for life. She's like, so the $500 sale could be a $50,000 sale throughout the entire year that you would have lost if you let her walk home like that, with that. And I was like, whoa. So then I realized the
manager was dropping some fire.
Yes. Yes. So the first one was show, don't tell. The second one is help, don't sell. Okay.
Show, don't tell. Help, don't sell.
Yeah. So I had to totally change my mentality and my mindset around it because it was no longer about just like selling. Right. Now I realized I'm not a salesperson. Even though that's my title, I'm a helper. And I want people to come to the store to shop with Jen because she's so helpful. And so it changed everything I was doing and it's carried through my entire everything I've ever done. Like when I sold educational software, it wasn't about selling the product. Of course, I want to be the top salesperson every month. Yep. But the way I got there was by showing educators how this tool would help them teach their students.
How did you go from the Cutco knives and the retails? Shop with Jen. I feel like that's like an Instagram handle. How'd you transition from there to the education software?
Okay, so I went to college.
Awesome.
And so I had to leave my retail job because I went to school in St. Louis. And and by the way, I'm really picky when I walk into a retail store now and someone's not like friendly or they're on their phone or they're not paying attention. I'm like, seriously?
You're missing thousands.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
And every day that adds up to millions.
Yeah. So I went to college, had a job throughout college, whatever, at a technology center in school. Cool. I love tech. And then went on to move back to New York and had to get like a real job.
Yep.
And so I traveled the world a little bit first and then went to this educational software company and worked there for 6.5 years. Started out, I had one job requirement. Like I was working with a headhunter and I had one requirement and he thought I was nuts. Well, two actually. I wasn't going to work for too little money. So it had to be like a decent salary to live in New York. Yep.
Yeah, because you need to. Because
I know it's like a first year out of college.
$2,500.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So,
and I heard you live by me, by the way.
Where'd you live?
Jeffrey told me. So I lived on 78th in York
by
the river. And
I lived on 85th and 3rd.
85th and 3rd.
Yeah.
You're way closer to the subway station.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I had to walk like 5 blocks. It was terrible. Yeah, see, we were new to New York, so we didn't know that. That was stupid.
Subway proximity is key.
Yeah. I walked way too many blocks in the snow.
That's so
funny.
Okay.
The software company, you said you had a few requirements.
2 requirements. So
good salary.
And which, by the way, like post-college scored a $60K job.
Awesome.
Right? That's good,
Huge.
right?
Huge.
And then the second requirement was I had to work for smart people. And the headhunter literally fell off his chair when I told him this. And he's like, no, you want me to find out if they're smart? And I'm like, yeah, I can't work for idiots. Like I would not have lasted at any place.
Qualify
right. So he calls me up. He goes, I have the perfect job for you.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. What is it? He goes, okay, so it's this educational software company. Mm-hmm. The founders are Rhodes Scholars, so we know they're smart. And
Rhodes Scholars.
It's a great starting salary. Oh, and my other requirement was room for growth. I didn't care if I started out like at a low level. Mm-hmm. I knew I could work my way up.
Awesome.
And I was like, okay, so where is it? When's the interview? There's only one catch. It's in Brooklyn. And I'm like, what? Brooklyn. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But when you pay Manhattan rent, you don't want to schlep
No, that's
to
a big deal.
I know.
That's like a tough thing. Like, how long is the commute from...
30 minutes. It wasn't that bad.
I lived on the Upper East Side and commuted in Manhattan. It took me like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's not bad at all.
No, it wasn't bad. It was just the idea of like getting over that. But I was open-minded. I went, loved it, and got the job, worked there for 6.5 years, went from executive assistant to the CEO, learned everything from the top, read all of his emails because I had to respond to them, had to think like he thought,
That's
had
so
to get in his head.
I know a lot of people that do that.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then people would come up to me and they'd be like, so if I had this question for Larry, I was the CEO, what would Larry say? And I'd have to like come up with an answer on the spot. And then I'd go back to Larry and I'd be like, okay, so-and-so asked me this question. I was basically like a chief of staff. If you
that's like the chief of staff.
Yeah, like
for sure.
I'm like answering these questions that I'm like, was that the right answer? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool.
So over 6 years, you just kind of basically learned and did everything that he was doing or supposed to be doing.
So I was only in that position for a little less than a year because I begged them to let me sell something. So they gave me 20% of my job to sell.
Cool.
And as I'm selling 20% of my time, I'm outselling people who are 100% salespeople.
Unbelievable.
And so then the VP of sales is like, all right, you have to come to my team.
Yeah. You should probably.
All right, let's do this. So that's when I was like figuring out all my leads. I created a territory that didn't exist. I was like, I want to sell to charter schools. He's like, no, we don't sell to charter schools. I'm like, well, I do. I want to sell to charter schools.
Why did you love that niche?
Because I knew it was like an open territory. No one tapped into it, and I just saw so much potential. And I could go online to the national charter thing and
build the list.
Everyone okay, I literally could do that. And so I would go take the Amtrak to DC.
Cool.
I knew all the principals I needed to connect with for all the charter schools in DC. And I would have already called them, told them I'll be in the area, I want to meet with them, all the things.
Sweet.
And it was all about the list though. Like if I didn't have that list,
is that the secret? It was just like untapped territory and the list, or Like, what do you think the biggest sales secret from selling for those 6 years?
Yeah. So what I noticed, and though I got every single charter school in DC to be my customer except one.
That's insane.
But anyway, so that one killed me.
Why do you think, you always know the one
I think
that you
they
lost.
really didn't have the money.
Got it.
Like I think it was like
it's
legit.
too expensive, no budget, and like no matter what, it was impossible to overcome.
Yeah.
You did everything.
I really did. But the secret sauce there was prove like hell. So show, don't tell, help, don't sell, prove like hell. I like things that work.
Yeah, I love these taglines for these secrets.
So
this is epic.
So the thing that was so successful there was I wouldn't just call and say, hey, can I show up? I would be like, hey, I'm working with Brandon, who's the principal at this other school, and here's what he said. And I would like have asked the principal if I could copy and paste their email. Yeah. And I would literally copy and paste their thing where they said, this is amazing. It's a game changer. It's changing students' lives. It's helping our teachers save time. All the things that they cared about. I would have all that social proof. I'd be like, and so they would see their colleagues are doing that. And there's a little bit of competitiveness. Like, well, if they're doing it, we got to do it too.
Yeah, because they want to do whatever the competition is doing.
Right, because they want to be just as good.
One upper. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yes, and so I would go in there and I would send that email and they'd be like, yeah, they would be waiting for me to show up. Like they couldn't wait for me to arrive because I set the stage so well. And so especially now, like that was 10 years ago, especially now, social proof is everything. And people don't want to just see like a quote on a pretty graphic where you've like rewritten their text or like copied and pasted their text into your template. They want to see the little face like from Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And you can cross out their name if you need to, but they want to feel that it's real and authentic and genuine. And if it's not, people see right through it.
Yeah, they see through the bullshit. And the tagline, just for the audience again, listening in on their drive or wherever they may be going, prove,
show, don't tell.
Yep, show, don't tell.
Sorry. Help, don't sell, show, don't tell, prove like hell.
Prove like hell with social proof, with whatever proof you can. And I feel like because you picked that charter niche, the niche, with social proof, like anyone that you prospect in the charter schools, they're going to see your pitch or hear your pitch, and it's going to be so tied to their pain points, goals, responsibilities that it just resonates. I knew everything.
I knew how they got funding. I knew where I could get them funding.
So it's so easy to like create that opportunity and challenge them.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not like those other two first secrets went out the door. Like I would show up and I in that instance, I would start with the prove like hell, but I would show up and I would show them. I wouldn't just tell them how great it is. Like I would literally open my computer and give them a demo, you know, and then I would show them how I'm helping them. And the whole, that to me, that is sales in a nutshell.
And so then you go from EA to CEO.
Well, yeah, I mean, sort of. So I went from EA to a salesperson to sales manager, fired my own team, had a 10-person team across the country, was second in charge in the company, running the entire sales division. I was creating like the budgets and the quotas and stuff. And I had no idea, like, because we at that point had sold our company to News Corp. Awesome. And I had no idea, like, the things I was doing were affecting the stock price. Like, I had way too much power before age 30.
Wild.
And then quit that, started this, and I've been helping salespeople and entrepreneurs ever since.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and what made you decide to quit to do Sales in New York Minute and to consult salespeople and entrepreneurs?
So I was impacting my team, the division of like 50 salespeople. And I just felt like as the internet was becoming a thing and you could get your face out there, I could write a book and help millions of people, not just 50 people.
Right.
And, you know, I had built these successful teams. And I realized like I wanted to do that at scale, and I really wanted to help more people.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. So you launched your own company, and you've been doing this for how long? For the audience?
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah.
So you were selling the software for 6 years, and then you went into your own company for 6 years. I'm sure there's been a lot of ups and downs, secrets, strategies, playbooks, probably a lot that you've even shared. And by the way, guys, you can pick up Sales in New York Minute everywhere, anywhere a book is sold.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's true.
There's a lot of different strategies and playbooks that you've talked about and highlighted in the book. But if you had to boil it down for the audience, sales secrets from the top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. Jen Gitomer, what would your one top sales secret be out of everything you've learned?
Stay positive.
Stay positive.
It does not matter what happens. Whatever happens is either helping you be more create success or giving you the lesson that you need at the time. And if you're not open to the lesson or you get all negative and pissed off because something didn't go your way. Do you know how many things haven't gone my way in business? Oh my God, so
probably
many things.
10 things already today.
Of course. And you know what? My new goal is I want to fail 75% of the time, because I know if I can fail 75% of the time, then I'm putting more and more out there and I'm taking more and more risks. And I can build faster, further, quicker. But it's all about staying positive, because you can't think straight if you get all pissed off. Mm-hmm. You can't be creative. You can't take whatever lesson is there and use it to build upon it. And so more failures to me literally just means more success.
Yeah, I love that. And then it's easy to say stay positive, right?
Yes.
than it is to condition your mind, your life, how you view successes, failures, you name it. And I was here yesterday on my birthday with you and Jeffrey, and I was just talking about I didn't feel like I squeezed every minute of every hour in the past year of my life. And I'm excited to do that in the next year in 2020. That was me viewing everything the past year positively, but also very pessimistically and negatively. And I feel like there's a lot of people probably listening who are going through some challenges, tough times, you name it. How can the audience execute this secret? What are the strategies that you recommend to continuously reinforce, just stay and view everything positively?
So you need to create your foundation so that you have a positive foundation, because most people, especially if you're like me from the Northeast, most people, you look around in New York, they don't look happy. They don't look positive.
They're angry.
And it's it's ingrained that they're pissed off, that there's traffic and there's too many people and it's holidays, which means there's even more people. And, you can go on and complain about the weather and this and that, but that's not going to get you the sales that you need to get. And so I start my morning with reading something positive. I start my morning with meditation. I go back to meditation whenever I need it. If I need to take a 10-minute break from whatever I'm doing, I will leave the office. I will leave my space, whatever. I have it like a Zen couch, and I sit on my couch, and it sounds so woo or whatever, but you close your eyes for 10 minutes and meditate, and you get back out of it, and all of a sudden your state is different. And so
you go from that negative state to this more positive,
right,
calm,
where you can think
state.
And create. And so you lose a sale, and the natural instinct is to be pissed off. Well, allow yourself that minute to be pissed off. But if you stay pissed off the rest of the day, you're going to lose all the rest of your sales.
Yeah, you lose all your productivity for the
day.
And I've done that. We've all been there
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But I do crazy things. I get a True Rest, which is like a float tank. And I'll sit in a float tank for 60 minutes in a saltwater thing. And, just close it and sensory deprivation and just have my thoughts to myself. To create quietness around me. I do yoga, and yoga, in my opinion, keeps me grounded. You have to find your thing that keeps you grounded. So for you, it may not be yoga. For you, it may be hitting a tennis ball as hard as you possibly can.
Running,
right? Whatever
boxing,
it is. Exactly.
Skiing.
Exactly.
My video guy
all
loves
the
skiing.
things. And that's awesome. And so you have to figure out for you what it is, and then you have to create the space on your calendar so that you can consistently do it. You can't look at it as oh, well, shit, I have to take care of myself now, so that's a waste of time. No, your body, your mind is the most important thing you need to take care of every single day.
I love that. Yeah, and do you do anything with gratitude journals, or do you log all the wins or anything
So I try to write. I don't. I'll be honest. I don't celebrate my successes as much as I should. But there is a psychological thing in your brain that. Okay, so I think there are a lot of people who are like this, where they're I launched a book, and I'm like, oh, that's a really big deal. That's awesome. I'll celebrate when it hits this many copies.
Yeah.
Or I'll,
we talked about this. You told me I'm a 3 on the personality thing. Because I'm always moving the goal.
Right.
Never happy because I keep moving the goalpost to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing.
But there's something, and I don't know the science behind it, there is a real thing with your brain that if you allow your brain to recognize this success that you've had, it will actually take that success and that in your brain becomes your new foundation so that you can hit it even harder.
Like multiplies your impact and your
exactly.
ability to do that.
To go further. And so there is that's why like all the coaches out there say like, you have to celebrate your wins. You have to recognize all the amazing things. Like I've said to Jeffrey sometimes like, oh, I can't believe I didn't do this and I didn't do that and I didn't do this. And he's like, but let's talk about what you did do. You launched this book and you launched this ebook and you took off this membership thing. And I'm just like, oh yeah. And so sometimes you need someone in your life who can remind you of those things.
That's what Danielle does to me. Yeah. She's like, dude, stop beating yourself up. You did this.
Exactly. Yeah. And writing it out is definitely
That's awesome. Key. So stay positive. Look at every obstacle as an opportunity for improvement.
Yep.
And make sure you get in your state, whether that's through meditation, whether that's through relaxation, salt baths. What do you call it?
Float tanks.
Float tanks, salt baths, salt caves.
It does. You come out and it feels like you've been in a salt bath.
And I went to this big mastermind, CEOs, 1 million to 100 million. 90% of them all meditated.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
there's a reason why.
I'm like, I've never meditated. I got to figure it out. I got to do it.
Oh man.
And that's incredible. Well, anyways, Jen Gitomer.
Yes.
Sales author, expert, consultant, coach, mastermind guru. Thank you so much for joining us on Sales Secrets from the Top 1%. Where can the audience learn more, follow you, and connect with you?
Find me on Instagram. I'm super active there. I reply to every DM. I'm at Jen Gitomer. JenGitomer.
And if you haven't, pick up Sales in a New York Minute by Jen Gitomer. You can find it anywhere where books are published. And thank you, audience, for tuning in to Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. You can tune in to this episode, the chapter in the book, everything at secretsalesbook.com, secretsalesbook.com. That's secretsalesbook.com. And you can find us anywhere where podcasts and videos are located.
Amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.